We are wrestling. We are wrestling podcast.
They give a shout out to We Are Wrestling on YouTube.
You're watching We Are Wrestling.
I'm the host with the most.
You are by far the least intelligent.
What's going on, everybody? Danny Huckins here, man. 1/3 of We Are Wrestling.
What's going on? We are Wrestling Maniacs Worldwide. Ben here, the third of the talk show.
We Are Wrestling Podcast.
Make sure to subscribe, baby.
We are wrestling.
What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, the best one, Donnie, here with...
What is going on, everybody? Danny Huckins here, man, doing the fucking sprinkler, man, taking that shit back to the 90s. We got the Asian sensation, Ben, in the motherfucking house. What is going on, my friend?
What's going on, guys? It's Ben, the third of the podcast. What's going on? We have a great talk show ahead of you for you guys. Can't even speak fucking English tonight. But before we get into all the fun and shenanigans, Don, what's going on?
Well, this is the first episode of the We Are Wrestling Podcast. In case you guys don't know, last week on the talk show, we made an announcement that we are no longer calling ourselves the We Are Wrestling Talk Show. We are now the We Are Wrestling Podcast. So, before we get into our topics for this week on the podcast, if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, the best way to support us is by hitting that subscribe button now, turning on the post notifications. Videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO. And of course, you already know, the grind is real.
Bro, it's very fitting that at the end of the intro you say RKO, man, because technically that's going to be one of the topics that we talk about tonight, man.
Honestly, we should kind of switch it up. We should honestly just switch it up and talk about that one first, because honestly, I'm fucking excited.
And I was just going to get into that, because the funny thing is, Danny, the first topic is Randy Orton returning potentially to WWE. So there's reports out there that right now it's very closed, behind closed doors, that Randy Orton is actually working towards a comeback to get back in the ring after having, some back issues. I believe he did have some surgery, and he's looking to, come back. So how do you guys feel about that?
Danny, do you want to take this one, or do you want me to start?
Yeah, I can go first because
Okay.
I can try and be quick.
Okay.
I'm a little
Yeah, do your thing,
jazzed
man.
up tonight, man. I
Hell yeah,
appreciate
man.
you guys stopping by the podcast. Randy Orton had triple back fusion surgery several months back.
Fucking
It
nuts.
got posted on social media by his wife. Now we don't know when that picture was taken.
Dude was
You know what
high
I mean?
as fuck in that picture, bro. He was
But-
just
You know he was feeling good.
he was fucking chilling, bro.
But new pictures surfaced recently. It looked like he was in a warehouse or something. He was wearing like one of those life vests or whatever. And he was flexing, taking a picture doing that. The dude looks jacked as fuck, not gonna
And that
lie,
was
man.
and that was a while ago too. Like that was at least like a month or two ago. Like that was a while ago. So imagine what he looks like right now. Like I have not been so excited for a return we know is coming in so long. And I'm excited to see which match and who he's going to be fucking preying on. Like who the first person on his list is. And I'm fucking amped for it, dude. Apparently, not only does he look to be in miraculous shape from what people are saying, and he reached out to get new boots made. So apparently, like, he's going to be coming dripped out at some point. So I'm excited to see if he's going to be resurfacing kind of repackaged. Like if he's not going to just be like the Viper anymore, or the Legend Killer. I wonder if he's going to go for something new to reinvent himself for this time away. Like that's something I'm really excited about, because Randy Orton has been, I'm not really saying like, a one-trick dog, because he's not. He's fucking versatile as shit in the ring. But in terms of his gimmick and how he portrays himself, it is kind of starting to overstay its welcome as, the residential asshole. Like, I want to see a little bit more range. I'm not saying a baby face by any means. I just want to see a little bit more range with, now that we're starting to teeter towards the latter end of his career. I just want to see a little bit more of a reinvention, and that is something I'm so curious about, because if there's something that 2023 and this year in wrestling has proved so far in terms of Triple H's reign, it is the dawn of repackages and revitalizing careers. So I'm excited to see what is in store for Randy Orton and what Randy Orton has in store for us.
So my thoughts on Randy Orton potentially returning. I think that realistically, we're going to see Randy Orton come back. I think after WrestleMania. I think
at
enough
WrestleMania
time for him to, build the storyline or whatnot. So I do think it's either going to be Mania or, after Mania. But here's the thing that I'm curious to see what's going to happen, because, of course, we've had, some issues with, Riddle. He's been suspended. He's been, off TV for quite a while. And I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Randy Orton and Riddle. Because, of course, they had, the tag team RK Bro for over a year and a half.
Ben, you look like you have something to say.
I have an idea. I have a theory. I have a fantasy booking. I have an idea.
What's your theory?
And it's a pinnacle match. It is a big one. And you might have an idea of where I'm going. I think we're going to be seeing some rehashing of history down the road. I think we're going to be getting Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt soon. That's going to be a pinnacle match. I'm sorry, but like, if I'm thinking of anybody that he could possibly tussle with, since, Bray Wyatt's doing this whole picking off of, who's my next opponent kind of shit, Randy Orton's going to be on that list. I'm sorry, but that is inevitable, and I want it. I want it. I want it. I want it. Sorry, continue.
So here's the thing, like with Randy Orton's return, I do got to agree with what you were saying, Ben, with him like repackaging, reinventing himself, because I don't know if it's just me, but when it comes to Randy Orton, there's times where like I think he has great years, but then there's years that feel like it's just being dragged on because of how long he's been doing the Viper and the Apex Predator
Killer.
The Legend Killer. Like he's been doing the same thing for a while, and I feel like sometimes it gets a little bit repetitive. There's some years, but then there's other years where, Randy Orton, like, when he was a part of the Authority with, Triple H and Stephanie, he had a great run there. But then in like 2017, after, the whole Bray Wyatt storyline, he really didn't do much after that. And he became very stale. And that's like the situation I hope when Randy comes back, he doesn't get himself into. I definitely want to see what's going to happen with him and Riddle, because Riddle hasn't been on TV in a while, and I don't know what's going to happen with him, because I do hear that, there's been some issues with Riddle with the way like his attitude has been, and, with substance.
Yeah, that's something I don't really want to touch on personally, just because like I don't know the full story. It all happened very quick. Like it was it happened very fast. I have noticed his behavior has changed a little bit in terms of like, what he's doing outside of the ring. Like I've noticed he's kind of different. But at the same time, it's just like, I don't know personally what's going on, and I try not to dwell on it, because I'm trying to look at it more at the professional standpoint.
Yeah.
He's obviously going through shit, and he's doing some shit, or did some shit that he's not supposed to, which got him clipped right now. But to dive into it, I don't know if I want to. If that makes any sense. But I do understand, like, there's issues right now, and I don't know if RK Bro is gonna be even a thing anymore going forward because of what happened. So there is obviously room for speculation. But I don't know if they're gonna kick that right off. I think they'll probably touch on it when Riddle comes back eventually. I think I see Riddle coming back after, just because if we know what's going on.
You know what I think would be a good idea?
What up?
I mean, I guess we can say it's already happened before, But we can have like Riddle come back and cut a promo, like, you know, maybe he's having a feud with somebody or whatever. Like, I don't know the full details because I literally just thought about this idea. But he's in the ring cutting a promo, right? And we see somebody hop over the guardrail in a hoodie with his hood up, comes in the ring, just fucking RKO's him, takes off the hoodie and the hood. It's Randy Orton, makes his return, attacking Riddle, and it ends up breaking up RK Bro, gets him to feud, and we could possibly get. I mean, we haven't really necessarily seen Randy Orton and Roman Reigns, you know, especially at this level of Roman Reigns. I mean, I would like to see them explore that, even if it's not for a championship.
I don't think it's gonna happen. Especially if Randy's likely coming back at Mania or even shortly thereafter.
He's
Roman's
definitely
gonna
not
be done
coming back
after
at
Mania.
he's definitely not going to be at Mania. I
It's
don't
WrestleMania,
think
man. It's the hype of the year, man. You never know.
I don't think Roman will be totally done. I do think he's going to be taking somewhat of a break after Mania.
That's what I'm saying. Like he'll be done for a while, so I don't see him and Randy crossing paths anytime soon. Like I think that'll be like maybe whenever Roman decides to come back, and for how long, because it's gonna have to be a compelling thing, because he's gonna be part time like Cena, you know, and just not as part time, but pretty fucking part time.
I do know with Money in the Bank, possibly, you know, obviously being in London, they might want to have Roman at that show because it is, you know, overseas, and, you know, they always, even if Roman's not champion, he's still, you know, the dude is still, you know, a draw. You know,
Here's
He
the
puts
thing, though.
asses in seats.
He does, but here's the thing. My issue is, how are you gonna book Roman post loss, and knowing of how high you built this star, especially the impact you've made him have for the last 3 fucking years? How are you gonna take this huge thing that you've created and book him properly right off the get-go after such a massive fucking loss? Like, what is his feud?
Well, here's the thing.
Don't
that you
forget. Don't forget. I do want to say this before I forget, Donnie. I apologize. But after Mania, right? Obviously, Cody is possibly going to be beating Roman, you know, for the titles. You know, the Usos are possibly going to be losing to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
They are.
They're still going to have to explore, like, you know, by finishing off the bloodline, like having it all crumble in front of Roman's face. They're not going to do. They're not going.
It's all culminating at Mania.
They're not going to do. They're not just going to pull that all at Mania. It's going to be, you know, a buildup of everything to come. Like they lose the titles, and then something else happens, and then the Usos start feuding with each other and not being on the same page. Roman can't stand what is really going on. Solo Sikoa, you know, he sort of becomes distanced. You know, he doesn't really want to be involved with all. Like it's
and all of this can be happening because Roman disappears after losing for the title for a little bit.
Yep.
And something
honestly,
can
you
happen
know what?
from
I'm
there
gonna retract
because
it and
Jey
say
Uso could become main event Us, and that could be a feud that they can open back up.
I'm honestly gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna tap in on that 100. Yeah, I'm definitely hopping on that train. Facts.
Because one thing I've noticed with Triple H's booking, and this is where I'm going to add something to what Danny was saying, Triple H is always adding elements into the stories. He's not trying to start a story and then completely close the book. He's always somehow keeping that book a little bit open and leaving some pages, you know, for that story to be written. And I think Roman Reigns, you know, with the bloodline, I don't think they're going to fully disband at Mania because, you know, they're going to lose the tag titles and, you know, the world championship. I think Roman's going to disappear, and that's where there's going to be more issues with the bloodline. Like you said, Danny, Solo Sikoa, he's going to disappear, go off on his own, try to win maybe the Intercontinental or United States title. Jay is probably going to disband from Jimmy, go
who
their
is better than
separate
Jimmy.
ways. And that's right. Jay is better than Jimmy. That's why Jay's rating in 2K is better than Jimmy's. 90 overall. Jimmy's
and you know
89.
what I could see happening? So I could see Roman leaving after WrestleMania, right? And like, you know, for weeks we see like friction within the bloodline when Roman's not there. I could see Roman showing up at SummerSlam, or one of the shows before or after SummerSlam.
It's Money in the Bank or SummerSlam, I think.
And having him get in the ring, right?
SummerSlam.
And having him get in the ring and sort of have like a tribal court, you know, trying to get the entire bloodline on the same page again. And I mean, what if the Usos and Solo? What if they all took turns beating the hell out of Roman, and that's a way to write Roman off of TV?
No, I have an idea.
I don't know.
I have an idea. I know
What's
we're
your
off.
idea?
Like I know that we're off track, but this is too compelling to not
And
talk
we need
about.
to get back on track.
Yes, but this is too compelling. So, because now I'm gonna give a leeway to WrestleMania for y'all. We're gonna have that council at SummerSlam. Roman's gonna come back for the first time. He's gonna take out every single member of the bloodline for everything. Cue the Rock's music. The actual fucking tribal chief.
I will not be
Start-
bringing The Rock up until he actually
start
comes back.
That's what I'm saying. So have Roman come back at SummerSlam post-Mania. Have him make his first appearance. Have him take out every single member of the bloodline because of the fucking chaos that's going on in his absence. Have him give him his little spiel about how he's the tribal chief. Cue the fucking Rock's music. Cue the fucking Rock's music. Set up the fucking feud. Even if it's months, set up the fucking feud. Take all year to build that shit like it was John Cena and fucking The Rock. Take that opportunity because with a bloodline story, you could tell a fucking novel in that time. So have The Rock show up at that council at the very end of the pay-per-view. Cut the credits.
Okay, so, let's get back on track here because The Rock, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. Who knows when he's going to leave Hollywood to come back to WWE for a little bit. Because it was funny, I was having a conversation with Tyrone about this because Tyrone was telling me how he's sick of seeing The Rock so much in all these movies coming up and everything. And I was telling Tyrone, I'm like, I got to agree. The Rock in Hollywood right now is becoming a little repetitive. He needs to come back to WWE and do this match with Roman. But now getting back into, the RKO himself, Randy Orton, I think, after Mania, we're going to see him come back. He's going to, do a feud with somebody. And I can't really know what they're going to do with Randy, to be honest. The only thing I could think of is with Matt Riddle. Because, of course, the rivalry that they had, Triple H is going to find some way to, build a story there with two guys that have history.
Exactly.
See, here's the thing.
And what
I would rather. Here's the thing. I would rather. Sorry, I apologize, man. But I would rather have Randy Orton come back first. Start a feud, even if it's a very minor one. Even if it's obviously a built, established superstar. But even if it's a minor feud, no. But I would want him to get ganged up on, and I would want him to look weak, and then have Riddle save him. Because then he comes out, Riddle's gonna look huge. You can open the Brotherhood again. Everything, they solve the feud. RK Bros reunited. Randy turns on Riddle. Boom.
Okay, I got it.
Because
Randy
here's the thing, he came and saved him. Randy Orton can turn the script over right there.
Randy Orton's feud should be either with the Judgment Day or Hurt Business. And that's where Matt Riddle, comes in for the save. I got to agree with you. Great take.
And who in the WWE knows more about Riddle than Randy Orton at this point?
Exactly, but I'm just saying, because here's the thing: you
can't forget about the history that the two had.
No, 100, you can't, and I'm not discluding that. But here's the thing: Randy Orton's return cannot be overshadowed by, let's face it, a comedical tag team. This is literally Randy Orton. This is a huge pop return because it's been so long and it was a dainty surgery. So you have to remember, you cannot water down his return. And with Matt Riddle right off the bat, because that would take off the focus of just Randy. And Randy's going to be putting asses in seats when he comes back because everybody wants to see how he can perform. So, no, I would definitely say dip his toes into somebody like Karrion Kross first and then go for Riddle.
I could also see Cody Rhodes' first feud as champion with Randy Orton because of the history they have with Legacy.
I could see that. When Randy first comes back,
give it Cody Rhodes. Give him Cody Rhodes.
When Randy first comes back, I wouldn't even think about putting him in the title picture because,
no, not even the title picture.
But the story with Cody is there. Yeah. You can have on Raw Cody doing one of those emotional promos. He did it for his dad, this and that, and then Randy Orton comes out of nowhere with an RKO.
Bro, I'm saying this right now. Okay, bro, you are onto something. Cody Rhodes versus versus Randy Orton first feud back. Randy Orton is the only person you can put next in line after Roman for it to be really monumental, and it becomes personal. And if
They got
anything, if there's
history.
anything, and if anybody can play history to a sentimental fucking T, it is fucking Cody Rhodes. And if anybody can shit on sentimental history, it is fucking Randy Orton. And they have intertwined history. They are
And
both
think about it,
generational
too.
superstars.
Hold up, and think about it too. You can have a segment bringing in Ted DiBiase for one time.
That is what I'm
Just
saying,
to have the
bro.
three from Legacy.
That
Bro,
is
you know-
what I'm saying.
You could do this now that you brought up Ted DiBiase.
Special guest referee.
Fuck. This is so good.
You have Randy coming back as a babyface, right? He's so happy for Cody and everything that Cody's been able to accomplish and everything. But you have Ted DiBiase coming back as somewhat of a heel, stirring the pot. Saying that, Cody's success or whatever, Randy Orton hasn't hit
Man,
this
we were on
kind
a
of
heater.
level.
Why'd you have to kill it?
For
I'm
real.
just saying.
All you
Why'd you
need
have
to
to
do is
kill
have
it?
Cody do an emotional promo after he wins the title on Raw.
Boom, Randy Orton music.
takes the
Done.
spotlight from him, RKO's him, end the show there.
That
Next
would
week,
literally
fans are going to
be
tune
the
in
first
to
time.
hear why Randy Orton did what he did to Cody
That
Rhodes.
will literally be the first time you are going to see people boo the shit out of Cody Rhodes and cheer for Randy Orton for a fucked up reason. And it's going to start a great fucking feud because nobody's going to lose credibility. Nobody's going to turn on anybody. It's going to be a compelling fucking story and everybody's going to be in for a fucking ride. So yeah, no, like literally let him do that. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. All right,
Yep,
now
I
before
just
we
hit
get
the
too
nail on the head on
sidetracked,
that one. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling Podcast.
You're gonna be different this year. We're gonna be at Donnie's house again this year.
Not one, but two nights.
nights. Yeah, you're definitely gonna want to be there for sure. It's gonna be fucking A1. Be there, be square.
We're back with the We Are Wrestling Podcast. And for heads up to the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there, if you can't make it to tonight's show for Blitzkrieg Pro, recommend you guys to check it out on IWTV. We are going to be sponsoring Devon Douglas' son's match. They're going to be in a tag match against Jay George. And that you are not going to want to miss. So, our next topic for this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling Podcast is an AEW topic. So, Tony
Let's go.
Khan, this past Wednesday on Dynamite, went out and made a huge announcement that AEW is going to be having a new reality show, AEW All Access.
Okay, so
And
before
we
we
know
start,
for the last couple of months, they, have been speculating that we are going to be having a reality show, and it finally, came to light. How do you guys feel about AEW doing this? This is going to give, us fans more of an insight look at some of the superstars. We're going to get to see some of the things backstage, and we're going to get a really cool inside look at All Elite Wrestling.
So before we start this, I'm gonna definitely say I would 100% let you guys take the reins on this one because you guys definitely have more background on AEW than I do. But
Yep.
to start branching off into more like I'm assuming it's gonna be more like reality-based television, right? So for them to start like branching off and doing more stuff that's more reality-based and giving them more of, like a peek, I guess, into like the personal universe of some of their superstars could gain some popularity, and it can definitely gain some viewership because you get to see these stars on a more personal basis, and it'll maybe compel you to actually watch their work in the ring and watch their work on the mic and actually see how they develop, story-wise and how they can sell. So I'm for it. I think it's a brilliant idea. I think it's another way to, again, expand your brand, and if done right, could bring in some money. So with that, you guys take it away.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to it, because there's a lot of people in AEW that, they don't always get the kind of TV time that they rightfully deserve. For instance, Miro and the House of Black and even the Elite. Like they've been mostly showcased on Rampage, which nobody really watches. But I like it. Obviously, in reality TV, especially reality TV of this magnitude, you have to have some scripted stuff to make it interesting. Like if it was just like somebody going to the gas station to buy milk, it wouldn't, nobody would really watch it. You got to have those drama elements to it. But I do know from what Adam Cole said, because Adam Cole is the one that made the announcement. He also announced that the night that this premieres, he's going to be having his in-ring return after his concussion. It's his first match since Forbidden Door 2, or Forbidden Door rather. He said it's going to follow his journey. So we're going to be seeing like a lot of the trials and tribulations that went along with his treatment for his concussion. Like he said he couldn't ride in the car for a few minutes without feeling like throwing up. He couldn't look at the light. So a lot of these elements, I'm kind of intrigued to see like just everything that he went through throughout this process. I think it's really cool, and it's going to be able to showcase people that don't get on Dynamite. It's going to, they're going to be able to branch out and get into a bigger audience. I will say, I kind of wish it was like the lead into Dynamite and not like right after Dynamite. You know what I mean? I wish it was like, AEW All Access is on and then immediately right after AEW Dynamite is on. Just being a better time slot. But I'm actually looking forward to this show. I'm definitely going to be tuning in.
But you do have to understand for like time spots and stuff, there's always shows before wrestling. So the times that they're trying to fill are after, AEW Dynamite or like a Monday Night Raw or like a Friday Night SmackDown. They're always trying to fill in that time spot that's after, the big show. And I think, in my opinion, when it comes to,
the same thing in the brand.
And when it comes to AEW All Access, I think that this is a incredible idea because with the lack of TV time, this could give, a spotlight to some of, the talent that they do have. And I think, letting the fans get more of an insight look at some of these wrestlers could definitely do wonders with their characters on TV because you have to understand some of the best work in AEW when it comes to character development, I feel like is always when Jim Ross is doing those one-on-one interviews with a superstar because you really get the story there and you get really that insight look at a character. Like a couple weeks ago, Jim Ross did a sit down with Wardlow and Wardlow explained why, he wants to go after Samoa Joe, why like when Samoa Joe cut his hair, it really, it really pissed him off because of, the history he had with his dad. And that's the thing. Like when it all comes down to it, doing these, interviews, getting more of an inside look at the superstar, you can really, connect with them. And I think with All Access, AEW, this will be a great move. We've seen it with WWE, Total Divas. We got the, women's revolution out of it. Mm-hmm. It's done wonders for a lot of people, with the reality TVs. And honestly, the reason why Roads to the Top didn't work because it was about Cody and Brandy. All Access, this is about AEW. And I think that's the difference between both of those reality shows and why I'm excited.
Yeah, well, there you go.
It's going to be good stuff, man. Like, maybe Bryan Danielson's in it, maybe it'll be like, he was in Total Bellas or whatever and Total Divas sometimes, and now he's in AW All Access. Like, I don't know. I'm like, the House of Black, Malachi, the other members of the House of Black, like they're such mysterious. Like we see them on TV and they're so mysterious and dark. But like, I mean, I think it'd be fascinating to see one of these dudes like, waking their kids up for school and like making cereal and just being like a normal person that you don't normally get to see, and it'll show that human element to them. I just think that'll be very fascinating. I am definitely going to be tuning in, and I hope you guys do too.
Oh, I definitely will be. I'm a wrestling mark, so I love this shit, and I love reality TV outside of professional wrestling.
You'll probably do a fucking reaction to every single fucking episode, knowing you.
Maybe a review, not a reaction. Maybe a review. But moving on now to our next topic for this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast.
God damn.
We got some nostalgia when it comes. we got some nostalgia when it comes to WWE trying to bring back some old pay-per-views. So
Yeah,
there's
dude, all day,
reports that
every day.
WWE is bringing back Backlash,
Gimme.
we're going to be getting King and Queen of the Ring
Let's
as
go.
premier live events. How do
Let's
you guys
fucking
feel
go.
about this?
I'm stoked. Obviously, fucking give me all that shit, dude. Like, fuck, Night of Champions, give me fucking Vengeance. Like, give me fucking Bad Blood. Give me fucking No Way Out. Give me fucking No Mercy. Give me all the OGs, bro. Fuck all this new shit. Like, what the fuck's a fucking WrestleMania Backlash? What kind of fucking corporate sounding shit is that? Just give me fucking Backlash and know that you pissed at me, not fucking you're corporately gonna write me off or fire me tomorrow. Like, give me something brutal again. Give me that Bad Blood. Like, literally, give me a pay-per-view where they just strictly fucking bleed. Then I'll be excited. Stoked for King of the Ring. Stoked for Queen of the Ring. Absolutely could capitalize on a huge opportunity to build stars in one night and bring back that same fucking feel that we got in the old school days. 100% for it. Backlash, obviously, that was the big pay-per-view. We were excited because that's where we saw all of our rematches and all of our fucking shit boil over from, the heat of the main event. So really, really stoked about it. There's really nothing I can say more to express my excitement and welcoming for this move. So 100% for it.
How do you feel, Danny?
I actually like it. Growing up, I was a huge fan of Backlash. Like, there's so many like iconic moments. Like, like when Shane McMahon was in a hardcore match with Steve Blackman, and he fell off the Titantron or whatever. And
That was a SummerSlam.
That was a SummerSlam. Wasn't. It was either Steve Blackman or
He
Test.
just roasted himself.
He faced one of them at Backlash. I remember them. I remember him falling off there.
That was at SummerSlam.
It might have been Big Show then. It was one of them. But I remember him. Yes, because I think didn't Test help him? That was when like Test and Shane McMahon were like in the Mean Street Posse, like they were like really close or whatever back in like 2000.
They were best friends.
Come on, Danny, you're the Attitude Era kid. You're supposed to know this shit.
Yeah, you fucking love 3-minute warning. Come on, man.
I haven't, bro.
Well, that's ruthless aggression, then.
That's ruthless aggression, bro.
That's when they got the F out.
I don't fucking know, bro. Shit. I didn't fucking know 3-minute warning. I never heard of them, so I thought they were probably Attitude Era.
But I mean, I really like Backlash, man. I've always wanted them to bring back some of these classic pay-per-views, like Judgment Day, for instance. With them having a faction like Judgment Day, so a faction that's very dominant, might I add. They're almost like another bloodline, except the Raw version. Like I feel like if they were to bring back the pay-per-view Judgment Day, I mean, it'd be a perfect fit.
I'm sorry, bro. But to compare Judgment Day to the Bloodline is kind of senile, because did you hear how bad fucking Damian Priest fucked up his promo against Edge? He's like, yo, this guy got me so fucking flustered right now. I'm like, dude, you are definitely not getting a push. You're definitely not getting a push. You just burned that shit.
Name another faction on Raw that's very dominant right now.
What factions? We don't have enough fucking people for a fucking faction right now, bro.
Exactly.
The fucking Judgment Day. Yes, they're building them, but to compare them to the fucking Bloodline is fucking ridiculous.
Well, you see here in WWE, there's not that many factions compared to AEW. You want to name like 100 factions? I can name you 100 from AEW.
Yeah, because they have a fucking locker room full of them, and how many actually see fucking TV time?
Dark Order.
Who the fuck's the Dark Order? I'm sorry, but the Dark Order moved on after fucking Brody Lee, man. Like, that was over.
Factory.
Who the fuck is the Factory? Like, who are these people? Like, I feel like fucking Patrick when he rolled up back to the crib and he saw all those eyes underneath his fucking rock, was like, who are you people? Like, that's basically how I feel right now. Like, who the fuck are these people? Well, Jericho Appreciation Society, obviously, I know.
I actually like them.
Who?
Of course,
the Jericho Appreciation Society. Like, because it makes sense as to why
you love fucking Jake Hager in the hat. Shut up.
I'm not even gonna. I'm not okay. I'm done opening these can of worms, because I will blast you, Danny, when it comes to Jericho Appreciation Society. So let's get back to the pay-per-views. So my thoughts on WWE bringing back King and Queen of the Ring and Backlash. I think that this is a great move. I never understood why we got rid of these, pay-per-view names and did more gimmick pay-per-views like TLC, Hell in the Cell, Money in the Bank, which for me, Money in the Bank is like one of my only exceptional ones. But like when it comes to it,
Man,
I never really understood why we got rid of, the themes for these pay-per-views. Like
see,
I
here's
miss
the
the
thing.
old arenas and stuff. that
Here's
they
the thing.
did.
I'm gonna agree to disagree with you on the Money in the Bank one. I personally feel like it should still be that match at Mania because it does set the tone for the whole year. That's what the whole importance of it was a whole year from that day, WrestleMania, which could allow automatically that person to cash in at Mania and win the big one on the grandest stage of them all. Why take that away? That is a perfect way to set up a title opportunity because that was basically, in a long run, planting the flag of who could possibly be next as the big face of the company and the next world champion. Like, that was exciting. That kept us guessing. That gave us something to look forward to every night because it could happen anywhere. So
Yeah, no, here's
it's
the
one
thing.
of those
Like,
things that I feel like should
you
be at
make,
Mania.
no, you do make a valid point. The only reason why I'm saying for me it's an exceptional one is because of the stipulation of the match, so I look forward to watching it.
No, for
That's
sure.
like, that's like what I mean with the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. But yes, I would rather have it at WrestleMania than having a Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
It was just a
But
match I
Money in
look
the
forward
Bank's
to every
draw
year.
pretty solid viewerships though.
Oh,
That's the
it,
only
And
it has. It has.
But
I
back to like my thoughts on them bringing back Backlash. I'm very excited because what Danny was saying, it's always we always looked forward to it because like that's where the rivalries would really finish. It would
Mhm.
be at Backlash.
Mhm.
And I think King and Queen of the Ring, I'm very excited for this because King of the Ring pay-per-views were always so entertaining to watch. And that's the thing, like when they did these tournaments on Raw and like SmackDown during the Ruthless Aggression PG era, it really just didn't feel the same compared to the
Nope.
pay-per-views. And during the pay-per-views, especially with the way Triple H is booking things, this is a great way to get a guy like Bronson Reed over. This is a great way to get Johnny Wrestling over. This is a great way to get some of these, Triple H guys over by putting them in, a tournament that, was once prestigious and doing it on a
Mm.
pay-per-view or a premier live event. I think that's a great move.
I've always liked the King of the Ring shows, like the one that I remember the most was 2001. Obviously, we had Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon when that epic match or whatever, sending Shane McMahon into like the plexiglass or whatever. And then remember when Edge won the King of the Ring and he got that big ass trophy and Christian kept carrying it around every
I
week and
miss that.
sort of like living through Edge's success. And Edge kind of was like, bro, like, he started to be like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I won this.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I just always liked like the whole idea of King of the Ring.
And that's the thing. Here's what I
Same.
don't want to happen with King and Queen of the Ring. We don't need the King and Queen gimmicks. Like, what I miss is when you won the King of the Ring, you earned a shot for the WWE Championship. And, like, you really got that solid push. That's
Mhm.
what I want back in King of the Ring. Not
Absolutely.
King Corbin or Queen Zelina. I don't want any of that.
Yeah, no,
Let's
no,
not
I'm
forget
good with
freaking
all that.
King Xavier, too.
I will
Yeah,
say,
no, I'm good
like,
with all that.
I'm not that.
Drizzling shit.
I'm into King of the
Them
Ring.
Hershey squirts.
I'm not quite sure how they're gonna go about doing Queen of
Das
the Ring.
Schnitzel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Like, I'm very curious to see what they do here. I'm very excited to see what happens.
I just hope
I
they do
think
it right.
Triple H, is definitely onto something. And I really hope now that he's bringing these back, let's bring back some of like the unique arenas, like with the stages and stuff. I miss the old setups for these pay-per-views because it added more to the product.
I know exactly why they stopped doing that.
I know. Me too.
So,
I'll let you say why if you want to.
so a lot of the old arenas or whatever, they're obviously like a lot of the old sets are in the WWE warehouse in Connecticut, and they used those before WWE went full HD. And a lot of them, like, they were very cheaply made. They looked cool for the time, but they were very cheaply made. And obviously, with like HD and like the new high def stuff that they have or whatever, they wouldn't necessarily look cool compared to like back in like the late 90s, early 2000s.
I would have loved the
And
fist back for SmackDown though.
I would have too. And
Even if they do it now and just reinvent it, I'd be down.
and I also heard that it's not really a cost that WWE really wants to spend, because I feel like, revamping all of those, like they'd have to
Here we
spend
go
a
with their
lot of
cheapo.
money.
Yeah, because they're cheap as fuck for a company that makes so much fucking money. And
It just
I'm sorry, but I'll
adds
be the one to
so
say it.
much more. It's like the little things that add so much more to it. Remember when they took the pyros away?
That was stupid.
That was stupid.
Yeah.
Exactly my point. But guys, we'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling Podcast.
What is going on, everybody? Danny Huckins here, man. You guys are watching the We Are Wrestling Podcast. I want to be acknowledged!
We're back. Our next topic for this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling Podcast is about Jeff Hardy. So Jeff Hardy, hasn't really been on AEW TV due to another DUI that he's had. And he just, got his case closed. And he will not be serving jail time. The DUI case is closed. His license is suspended for 10 years. The question is, do you think Jeff Hardy got it off easily?
So I'm gonna take this one first. Just because I might have a very different view from you guys. So obviously I love Jeff Hardy. I obviously love Jeff Hardy. Like, he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and I deeply respect him. I deeply respect his music. I love his music, like, it's not just his in-ring career, and I also love his artwork, so I wouldn't say I live and breathe Jeff Hardy, but in the pro wrestling world, he is what I gravitate to 100%.
Can I just say, I love his music as well.
Absolutely. So with that being said, Jeff Hardy, as we all know, is very plagued with issues. And we've seen that time in and time out. And, he's, has very big streaks where he's doing fine. He's doing good. And then tragedy strikes, and unfortunately, sometimes old habits die hard. And he learned yet again. However, where I think he got off easy, yes and no. He serves no jail time, which he already said that he was fucking petrified of jail. He serves no jail time. But he gets his license revoked. Here's the thing. Great that you revoke his license by law. Cool. But with how many times he's, said he's going to get clean, how many times he's, done X, Y, and Z, gone to rehab X, Y, and Z, something always happens. And you can't blame somebody for being very skeptical. Like, you can wish them the best 100%, and I do. And I hope this time is it, like everybody else. But even revoking his license, what's to say that he can't just fall back on his habits and just abuse it some more? Because now it's like, oh, I don't have to drive now, so there's no, I don't have to be as straight, But the thing is, I hope that's not the mindset. Like, I really hope that it is recovery this time, like, for good, Like, I wish that for him 100%. I wish him nothing but the best. And I hope he does return to the ring very soon. And I hope he does, succeed. But I hope he's fucking serious, man, because it's hard to take his credibility seriously now because he's lost a lot of it. And you can't help a sick person. You can only help a sick person so much unless they don't want to fucking be helped. And I'm terrified that this is it, like, this is just how it's going to be. And it's unfortunate that he can't follow Matt's shoes in a way, in that perspective. I wish that Matt could have some kind of influence on him, because Matt really did clean up. Like, he really fucking straightened the fuck out, and I wish the same for Jeff, and I hope he gets there. And I'm skeptical, but again, I wish him nothing but the best, and I'm trying to be as respectful as I can about it. So
How do you
that's
feel,
my
Danny?
view.
I grew up, it's no secret, man. I grew up a huge Hardy mark, man. Ever since
Absolutely.
I was a kid, I had a huge crush on Lita. Team Extreme was everything to me. And, I remember, going down to Walmart on Boston Road in Springfield, meeting the Hardys for the first time back in the day. And, so I've been a huge fan of them for a long time. So I do have a couple things to mention about this whole entire thing. One, he got, because I read the full article. He got sentenced 38 days in jail with time served, meaning he spent 38 days that we didn't know about locked up. He got arrested probably about 10 years ago, and he served 10 days, 10 or 15 days. So that means he served a couple more this time. So altogether 38 days. He does have a breathalyzer in his car now for 2 years. Makes no sense, seeing as he got his license suspended for 10. So it doesn't really make that much of a difference. And apparently he got his vehicles impounded for some amount of time. He'd never been to rehab. He did classes, but he's never fully been to rehab. Matt was the one that went to rehab.
Gotcha.
And apparently, Matt posted on social media that he's never seen, his brother adapt to life like this before. And I mean that's very intriguing to think about. And like growing up around people like, my aunt, people close to me or whatever that have substance issues, I'm a little bit more sympathetic because I've been there. I know what people go through when they're like that. You know what I mean? And when you're addicted to something, it's not as easy as being like, just don't do it again. Just
No,
don't.
I know. Yeah, I'm not insinuating that at all.
Like the kind of job that they do, like how many years have we read about, like, oh, a wrestler addicted to pain pills, because
No,
of
I know.
the wear and tear on their body.
No, of
I
course.
don't blame Jeff Hardy for all this. I do know Tony Khan said that he is not able to come back to AEW unless he does rehab. So that's very good. He got suspended without pay, meaning he hasn't been getting paid at all throughout this. He's been living off of the money that he already had or whatever. He's stayed off of social media. Nobody's heard anything from him at all since this entire thing happened. He hasn't posted anything. I have to say, like, I'm skeptical too, to an extent, but I do feel like now was the time. Like he's a dad now. He's been dad for a while, but when he was having kids, he was still going through this stuff. He WWE and Vince McMahon, like, they offered him rehab or whatever, but I don't think they did it to the extent that Tony Khan and AEW did. As far as I know, Tony Khan's been calling him weekly. Has been checking up on everything, making sure that he's doing what he needs to do, because like AEW said, like, he's not able to come back unless he completes rehab. He completes all this stuff, and obviously they're going to be checking up on it. I mean, the only thing we can say is, like, is he going to screw up again? I mean, there is a possibility. We're going to have to wait and see how that develops. But I mean, like I said, growing up around it my entire life, I gotta give him the benefit of the doubt. I just have to.
And that's the thing, like, I want to get into with, Jeff Hardy and, his addiction, because throughout my whole life, I've seen addiction firsthand. I have two older brothers that, have had, addiction problems. One of them, my oldest brother, Jeremiah, passed away from, an overdose. So I know, firsthand with addiction. My family, it runs right through, my whole family. But when it comes to, Jeff Hardy, like, I do feel sorry for him. Like, it sucks that, like, he can't, get over these demons. And I really hope that, Jeff Hardy could, end up being like Matt Hardy and, find a way to, overcome these demons, because Jeff Hardy is a role model to, so many kids. There's so many kids that love Jeff Hardy. And, we were kids that loved Jeff Hardy.
Absolutely.
We looked up to him. And, Jeff Hardy was always one of my favorite, wrestlers on TV when he was in, WWE, TNA. And, Jeff Hardy, I feel really sorry that, he's going through this. And I think, taking his license away for 10 years, I think that was a good move for them, to do, because this is not the first time that he has had, a DUI for, pretty much driving under the influence. And I think that this could, really help Jeff Hardy, pretty much take that next step in life. And I think what Jeff Hardy really needs to do is, and I think he probably has been since, not being on, TV or wrestling. He really needs to reevaluate everything going on in his life and make some, tough decisions. Because realistically, think about it. In AEW, all this man has done is friggin' jump off ladders, jump off roofs, doing, swanton bombs into like 100 chairs and tables. He can't be doing that anymore. He did that, throughout his whole career. And like with Jeff Hardy, like I think a lot of it too is not only the demons that he's also dealing with, it's also, the wear and tear on his body.
Yeah.
All of these years, working full time
He
for
doesn't
all
know,
these different wrestling
bro.
promotions.
He does not know when to fucking stop. That's his issue. Is he's another person that loves it so much that he just does not know when the fuck to stop, and you can't blame him for that. But at the same time, yes, the fuck you can. And I do feel sorry for the dude, 100%. I hope again. I wish him nothing but the best. But please, for the love of yourself and everything you love, for all of us, straighten yourself out, man. That's it. Like, yeah, that's it.
I will say, and like, I don't mean to come off as like this, towards like AEW or anything like that. But when he was in WWE, he wasn't doing the kind of crazy stuff that he was doing. But when he went to AEW, Tony Khan signed
Look
the
at
Hardy
that.
Boys. Tony Khan
And
signed
here's
the
the
Hardy
thing.
Boys.
And here's the thing. Yeah, obviously his shit was clean when they tested him before he left. It's because he was in WWE. He only was doing all this crazy shit the moment he left. So it's like, oh, I'm free. I get to do crazy shit because people at AEW do crazy shit, like in the ring and apparently outside of it. Yep. Ain't that right, Mr. fucking Tony Snowman?
Here's the thing. I feel like here's something I do want to say too. I think, those demons that Jeff Hardy deals with, like in his head, I feel like they tell him like he needs to do these crazy things. But us Jeff Hardy fans, we don't care that he's doing these crazy things. We just love him as a performer. We love his character work. We enjoy, him, entertaining us. And I think like there's other ways for him to entertain us than, jumping off 20-foot ladders.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
Into tables.
He can go more grounded, get a new finisher. Like, here's the thing. Swanton Bomb, get a new finisher, stick to the Whisper in the Winds, stick to the fucking Poetry in Motion, bring the Swanton out for special occasions, and do not fucking do it off a ladder. Do it off the top rope where you are trained and where you know you're going to fucking take the hit good and you're going to be able to fucking curve that bump. Like, preserve your body. Leave the crazy shit for the end of your career. Because if you fuck up, that's it. Go out on your terms. Do not let this crazy shit end your fucking career this early. Like, and there's ways to make him entertaining. Like I said, new finisher. Keep the fucking Twist of Fate. Keep the Swanton Bomb. But shelve the Swanton Bomb for special occasions if you need the big win, because then that move becomes prestigious again.
Well, Jeff Hardy just has to do it just on the top rope, not on like ladders and stuff.
Yes, but the thing is though, it's like, again, the wear and tear on his body. Doing those Swanton Bombs constantly is also fucking taking a toll on his back. Like, if again,
he's not landing on a beanbag chair, bro.
Exactly. Like, again, change his finisher. Do the Swanton every so often just to keep it special and make it the big fucking, like, that's it. We're locking it. It's done. You know,
Yeah.
again, he can stick to the fucking poetry emotion with Matt. He can stick to the
Twist of
whisper in the
fate.
wind, the twist of fate, and then get a new finisher to lock away opponents one on one. But in tag matches and then bigger matches, Swanton Bomb, like
I
100%,
do.
because
I
it'll
do
preserve his
wanna.
body.
I also have to like say like so we talked about like obviously like him doing all this crazy stuff in AEW. I can't help but to also mention WWE
Hmm.
isn't part of this too,
No, of
because think of
course,
how
that's
think
where it
of
all
how
fucking started.
think of how not even that, but think of how many storylines he's been in just in like from like 2009 to now.
Oh, that like
Uh,
shames
but,
all the fucking things that he's done. Yeah, I know.
like all just
TNA too.
It's good to see where he's at in AEW, and there really isn't a part of that. But at the same time, outside of the ring, there's no restraint on their superstars. They get away with a lot of shit, man. A lot of shit. And AEW needs to buckle down on that 100, because WWE had it fucking locked after a while.
Hey, but WWE, man, you have to understand, man, with WWE, they have so many years and they've been through so much trials and, tribulations when
Mhm.
it comes to all that. So like, of course, they've been prepared for
And like, here's the
years.
thing.
AEW is just, they're not even 5 years yet.
And that's the thing, though, bro.
They
You
got
can
a lot of
smoke
growing
weed.
to do.
You can smoke weed in WWE now. You can fucking smoke weed and still be very much employed. The tribal chief could be fucking that tribal Keith on a fucking Samoan island somewhere, and he would still be the fucking tribal chief, still reigning champion. Nothing would be done. Jeff, just go back to WWE and just smoke some weed. Problem solved. Problem solved. But at the same time, I don't want him shit on in WWE and become a fucking mid-carder. I love him in AEW. But again, I want AEW to buckle down on those fucking straps, because they gotta fucking get their wellness policy in check and security in check in terms of keeping their superstars clean, and they can't be letting them do crazy shit outside of the ring. Like, under contract, you gotta be fucking square. 100.
Well, with AEW, they have been putting their foot down with stuff. Andrade, we haven't seen him since, him trying to fight Sammy Guevara.
But I'm
we
talking
haven't
about their
seen,
wellness
We haven't
policy.
seen CM Punk since the whole all
But-
out,
No, dude, I'm talking about their wellness policy, not like legitimate security. I'm talking about like the security of their wellness policy. Like, they need to be more strict about it. No, I'm not talking about like security about that shit. Just the wellness.
yeah.
Yeah, and they got a lot of, they got a lot to learn definitely
Mhm.
from that.
I understand why he's not in WWE and why he decided to come to AEW. One, his brother's there. He spent a long time without his brother because his brother has been in AEW since like the pandemic era. And like it's a limited schedule. He gets the same amount of money he was getting in WWE for working less dates. It's not. He wants to be home. I don't blame him. He would work Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, and then he would do really nothing else after that. You know what I mean? So I understand.
And I'm going to add one more thing to this before we move on to our next topic. Jeff Hardy has had a fantastic career, and his career in the ring is winding down. And I think that's another reason why he wanted to go to AEW to team with Matt for a couple years before they go back to WWE for, one final match and, the Hall of Fame and, the right way to, say goodbye. And
Yeah.
I just think that Jeff Hardy just wants to, finish his career with Matt. And that's why, they were the Hardy Boys in AEW and, they were trying to go for the tag titles.
Yeah. And Jeff turned down the Hall of Fame because he wanted to get inducted with Matt. So
Yeah, absolutely. But moving on now to our last topic before we get into the main event. This past Monday on Raw, Omos issued a challenge to Brock Lesnar for
Yeah, I'm sitting this one
WrestleMania
out.
39. And next week on Raw, Brock Lesnar is going to be answering the question if he's going to accept or not. And the reports are that it's going to be happening. Omos versus Brock Lesnar. How do you feel about this?
I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think anybody in WWE is that stupid. They know the They know the kind of reaction Omos gets, and WrestleMania is like their big. It's like where they want to showcase all their biggest superstars. And ever since Triple H took over, like this is probably the 4th or 5th time Omos has been seen since August. You know what I mean? So he's not showcased every week. Now, if this match does end up happening, that means one of two things. Either the reports are true that Triple H is actually, taking, or listening to what Vince McMahon wants, or Vince McMahon is slowly but surely, itching his way back into head of creative for WWE. And if that's the case, WWE is fucked.
How do you feel, Ben?
Probably the same as me.
Honestly, I don't even want to fucking talk about it. Like, it is so fucking stupid. Like, why waste Brock Lesnar on some big ass pathetic puke that don't even really know a fucking ring around his asshole, that does not know like the ins and outs of anything on the fucking mic. Like, I don't understand why you'd want to waste it. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's 100% going to be something Hurt Business related. I don't think it's going to be just Omos. I think I don't fucking know, man. I don't fucking know.
The terminology
I will say,
that Ben's looking for is Omos is green.
Just know, I hate this. That's what I think about it.
I will say, Donnie, before you give your opinion, this is going to be really, really quick because I did remember something once Triple H, first took over creative. Remember that time Brock Lesnar, like it came out that Vince McMahon was retiring and Brock Lesnar got pissed off and left. Like a week after that or 2 weeks after that, a report came out stating that Brock Lesnar was upset that Vince left, but he wanted Vince McMahon to book his matches for him. He doesn't want to listen to anybody else.
Yeah.
This could be an instance like that.
And here's what I got to say about the whole Omos versus Brock Lesnar thing. I'm sure some of you, We Are Wrestling Maniacs, watched my reaction on Raw when this happened. I shut off Raw. And I got some backlash for it, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me. Friggin' Omos is literally the worst wrestler, I think, in any wrestling company right now. Satnam Singh is right there with him. They're fighting for that number 1 spot. But at least with Satnam Singh, he doesn't talk, so that helps him. Omos, to me, is on my We Are Wrestling top 100 worst wrestlers in 2023, and he's going to continue to be at that list. I think that this has Vince McMahon written all over it. The reports are saying, this is Triple H's idea, this and that. I call bullshit. I call cap, because ever since Triple H has booked, WWE, when has Omos been on a pay-per-view and wrestled? How many times, Danny?
I can't think of one, to be honest with you.
Exactly. He's never had a pay-per-view or a premier live event match under Triple H's creative. So this is just screaming Vince McMahon. And I got to agree with what you were saying, Danny, when it comes to Omos, or with the whole Brock Lesnar and Vince McMahon thing. Because I remember those reports being out on the first week of Triple H, being head of creative.
Yep. It was actually that Monday Night Raw was actually, I believe it was either in Boston or Connecticut. And I remember Brock Lesnar was supposed to set up something for the following pay-per-view. He ended up fucking leaving the arena because he was so pissed off. Yeah. So I mean that could very much be. Isn't the last pay-per-view that Omos was on was last year's WrestleMania, if I remember correctly?
WrestleMania Backlash, maybe?
I can't remember. I remember the last match.
I don't know, and I don't care.
Yeah.
This just screams Vince McMahon all over it. I can already see Vince McMahon pitching this to Triple H. Imagine Brock Lesnar gives an FI to this big green giant of ours in front of freaking 100,000 people. Oh my God, they'll freaking get their asses off their seats. I love it. Vince McMahon, this has it written all over him. Don't believe these reports of Triple H having this, because if it was under Triple H's, idea, he would be doing something with Brock Lesnar and somebody else. Because I can name probably 50 more people that deserve to have a match with Brock Lesnar than freaking Omos.
Jade Cargill deserves a match with Brock Lesnar more than Omos does, man. Let's
Veer
move on to the next.
Mahan versus Brock Lesnar I would rather watch than freaking Omos.
Let's move on to the next topic, man. It has Vince McMahon written all over it. I don't want it. We spent enough time over the last couple of months talking about Vince McMahon. I'm over the whole situation, to be honest.
I'm over it too. And before we get into our main event topic, we'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling podcast because we got to wake Ben up.
Every superstar there was so many great superstars back then, and they focused on the show. What happened in the ring took care of itself.
I have enjoyed tag team wrestling more now than I ever have in my entire life. And I think a lot of it has to do with AEW, tag team matches, especially the pay-per-views.
Those crowds back then, wrestling fans were wrestling fans.
With old school wrestling, the only thing I criticize is the pace of matches. I think when it comes to old school, it's, for me, a little too slow. Characters, on the other hand, they're on a whole nother level.
You can see your hands a little too close.
Honestly, I would rather take the belt that I'm wearing on my pants. I'd rather be representing that than the fucking the new WWE Championship, okay? New episodes of Old School versus New School air every Monday only on We Are Wrestling.
What is going on, guys? It's Ben here, the Lone Ranger, and you guys are watching We Are Wrestling Podcast.
We're back. Our main event topic for this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling Podcast. WWE is concerned about the amount of Sami Zayn chants on Monday Night Raw. They fear
That's the stupidest.
it could take away Cody's momentum going into WrestleMania. How do you guys feel about this whole Sami Zayn crowd situation here?
I'm sorry, but that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever goddamn heard. That is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever fucking heard. You're concerned about something that you wanted to happen. And we here on the We Are Wrestling podcast have generated a various ensemble of ways as how we could literally have Sami and Cody win the world title separately in one night. Like, there's so many ways you can do it, but yeah, WWE just kind of buried themselves there. Like, that's kind of their own fucking fault. Like, you made a compelling ass storyline on both ends, and they both have to accumulate at WrestleMania. Congratulations, you put yourself in a fucked up situation, and honestly, I'm here for all of it. So to say that they're concerned about it is senile because the crowd is collectively excited for both. Collectively, I'm just, yeah, the Bloodline story is huge, 100. But so is the Cody story. And I'm very compelled for both. Like, I'm not in a competition for either, but WWE is kind of fucking stupid for even saying anything like that. Like, it's not good. People are going to be fucking off their seats when Cody fucking pins that motherfucker. We have been waiting a long time for Roman to be pinned. Cody is just as fucking fit for the bill as Sami is. 100%. Like, this was built so well. Like, you cannot take away from that no matter what storyline is going on. Cody Rhodes is absolutely built to take those titles, and I don't think anybody's going to be upset. 100. Like, yes, a lot of people want Sami that. Here's the thing. Sami's going to get his time, but you just need to wait a little bit. Just a little bit, because I would rather see Sami Zayn take it off of fucking Jey Uso rather than fucking Roman Reigns, because it would be 10,000 times more personal. Because everybody keeps looking at the Roman and Sami, but nobody wants to check out the Jey and fucking Sami. And I'm more compelled into that.
All right, so here's something I do want to, add to what you were saying.
I think
okay,
both
but now
50-50.
you said Cody, we've been waiting for this moment for years. Here's what I want to add and, to this, conversation here. Unfortunately, due to Cody Rhodes' injury, I think WWE, they pushed it too soon. They should have had a program with Cody going into this WrestleMania, waited for this moment. I feel, in my opinion, personally, watching it, it feels forced. And we know what happens when WWE tries to force things. Yes, at first, the reactions are going to be fine with Cody, but that championship title reign of his is going to get repetitive like this. We've seen it happen before.
It depends on who they put him up against, and I could be compelled either way. However, my fear of Cody Rhodes is that he's a one-trick pony. That is my biggest fear about Cody Rhodes, is he can do crazy shit. Yes, he is a tough son of a bitch, probably the toughest in pro wrestling. If you really want to ask me, after that fucking match that he displayed at Hell in a Cell, he is probably the toughest fucking son of a bitch in pro wrestling. But his skill set and his move set is kind of lacking. It is very, very old school, and with old school clashing with the ever evolving Matt now could hurt his title reign, because it could, like you said, become repetitive, stale, the same story.
Nothing with his in-ring.
I like his in-ring 100, but it's just, I'm afraid that it's gonna run dry eventually, and I don't want that, because I love Cody Rhodes. I love Cody Rhodes 100%, but I'm afraid that he's gonna cap after this title reign, and I don't want that. Like, I want to see him go higher, 100, and I'm afraid he's gonna be one of the ones like I'm not gonna say Kofi Kingston, because Kofi Kingston's reign was definitely bullshit, and I fucking hate what they did to him, but I don't think Cody's is going to be ultimately spectacular either. I think him capturing it is going to be the highlight of all of it. And
yeah,
I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, but Sami could carry it for a while, 100%. You know, I'm with it either way. But to say that they are concerned about it slowing his momentum, I don't think so. Personally, I don't think so. I think that it's built enough for me. And it's what he's wanted since he's come back. The injury, yeah. Did it set him back a little further? Yeah. But the eye's been on the same prize the entire time, and he was going to win the Royal Rumble regardless. We're just picking up where we left off.
I know, but
So.
I just think because of the injury, they just jumped the gun too soon. Like, he went from having a great feud with Seth Rollins to winning the Rumble, going against Roman Reigns. I just think that he should have had at least one more program, and then maybe have him, go for it at SummerSlam. I just think it felt forced.
Ooh, no, dude. I just realized something. I just may have found a loophole.
There is no loophole.
There is a loophole. There is a way that Sami and Roman could win. Sami and Cody could both win those titles at the same night.
Nope. It's not happening.
It'll whatever one wins the second night, it'll just diminish everything.
Who says that there has to be a second night match? It could be done in one.
It's not going to happen.
But hear me out. Just hear me out. Just hear me out for this scenario. Even if it doesn't happen, even if it fucking sounds ridiculous, I want to have it out there. What if, and I'm saying it's a big what if, because Cody Rhodes has expressed that he is open to turning this into a triple threat. He has stated that he is open to it entirely.
And WWE is not interested in putting Sami Zayn in the main event.
Okay, regardless, I'm saying, what if, just hear me out, because I really want it out there. Say it's a triple threat. We've had weird moments in WWE before. Like, for example, Cena and Batista getting eliminated at the same exact time. And there was a stipulation to that. Like, there was things that went on to that. With how hot Sami Zayn is, and with how hot Cody Rhodes is, and with how hot Roman Reigns is, and the fact that there's two titles technically on the line, what if that triple threat technically becomes a handicap match in the last second and both men pin Roman? You could split the title right there.
They've already dug themselves a hole, man.
Because here's the
They're not
thing.
going to be able to get out of it.
Because here's the thing. Like, what do you do in that situation, though? Like, what do you do in that situation? As a referee, both people are on top, pinning one. Each one's got a leg. And two titles are right there. Like, what do you do in that historical situation? Like, that's something that is so mind-bending, because that like we've never seen an angle like that in pro wrestling. Like I don't think we've ever seen an angle like that in pro wrestling, and for that, with everything that's culminated, because realistically, Cody does not care about the Universal title. He really doesn't. It's the WWE title. Sami cares about the Universal, and it has history with Kevin Owens. If they ultimately, for whatever reason, decided not to do Sami Zayn and fucking Kevin Owens versus the Usos and went that way, it could make sense because Kevin Owens has history with the Universal title. With SmackDown, he said he didn't want to team with Sami Zayn. Like, yeah, I know that they're heading there, but with how those seeds fold, I could see that avenue too. So I'm just saying, a complete theoretical situation.
I want to hear Danny's thoughts on this.
Like I said, that was a hot take. That's not something I want to play off of. It's just something I wanted out there.
Hot take. I respect your opinion. I respect, your idea and your thought process going into it. But I do gotta disagree.
And that's fine.
With this kind of match, right? Not only does Roman have to technically lose, but you also have to protect him at the same time. Because we haven't seen a champion this dominant in years.
Exactly. So to have two men pin him would make him look dominant as fuck, because it took two people. Two. And this would be also running it back to the match with Daniel Bryan and Edge, where he stacked two people. What if the roles were reversed for these two? And they both got to split the bill.
Yeah, but WWE has no interest in putting Sami Zayn in a triple threat match,
and
that's
retarded.
why WWE is concerned about this whole Sami Zayn momentum.
Because they're fucking retarded. You wanted a good thing, you wanted ratings, you got it. Now fucking pay the fucking price. Write the end on it.
So it's just time to admit, Sami Zayn
is a main event player.
Exactly.
He's a main event player, but
it's his time now, not Cody's.
I gotta disagree with both.
I gotta disagree with you. I gotta disagree with you there too, because it is Cody's time.
Cody
should have waited.
Nope.
This has been the plan since Cody first signed, since before he debuted last year at WrestleMania or returned.
Technically, them not doing it would be a breach of contract.
Nobody expected Cody to get hurt. Nobody expected Cody to get hurt. And
for him with Hell in a Cell, that secured his W. That secured his dub. I'm sorry, but Cody will be walking out of WrestleMania with those championships. I'm saying that right now.
Roman's losing the titles at Mania.
I feel like Sami Zayn losing at Elimination Chamber, he came out of that match looking better than he did when going into it, I feel like.
And that's why WWE is concerned.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So here's what I think.
I love every second
here's what I think. All right. I think Cody wins the titles at Mania. There's even been reports that maybe Reigns doesn't lose, that they want to get him to the 1,000 day mark, which will be around SummerSlam or whatever. But let's say Cody wins the titles, right? The only one he's interested in is the WWE title. He doesn't give a fuck about the Universal title. That's not the title that's sentimental to him. He vacates the title on the next night on Raw. They end up having some kind of a tournament for it. Now, here's what I'm thinking, because
they can't have a tournament.
They can't have Sami Zayn in the main event at WrestleMania, because Roman Reigns is not going to lose the title before the Usos lose their titles. They're gonna want the Usos to lose the tag titles, and then finally Roman is gonna lose the WWE title.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking about, what if they held some kind of a not even a tournament. Maybe they hold something, and the winner at the end or whatever gets the Universal title. We've heard for months that there's a possibility that there is going to be a premium live event later on in 2023 that's going to be in Canada, because Edge would like to retire in his home country, his home state, whatever. What if that is the time that, being in Canada, what if that is the time that Sami, whether it's Jey Uso, Solo Sikoa, what if one of the Bloodline members, not Roman, wins the Universal title, holds it for a couple months, drops it to Sami in Canada at a premium live event. He finally does what he wants to do. He demolishes the bloodline, wins the title in his home country.
And here's what I'm going to say about that. And I've said this multiple times. I have to say this on every podcast I'm on. In professional wrestling, timing is everything.
It's not his time, though.
It's not.
Not Sammy's time?
Nope.
What?
Nope.
Because if you have Sami win the title, right, leaves the Usos. The Usos are not going to drop the Roman Reigns is not going to drop the WWE titles before the Usos drop the tag titles.
I never
if
said
Sami
that.
is in the main event at WrestleMania, that leaves the Usos and Kevin Owens off of the fucking Mania card.
And that's why I'm
It's
saying
not gonna work.
WWE buried themselves in this situation because they put themselves in the situation to put Sami and Owens in the tag match against the Usos. I already know what's going to happen.
This is
We've
why
been
fucking
saying
Donnie
this for
being
months.
getting roasted in the comments.
Literally, we've been saying this for months. How the road to WrestleMania is going to be. We've all known it's going to be Sami and Kevin versus the Usos. Do I agree with it? Absolutely not. Because
That's
right
what
now,
needs to happen.
No, that does not
Donnie's
need to
definitely letting
happen.
the grill simmer. He's getting ready to
When
get
it comes
roasted.
to the Royal Rumble,
He's getting that pre-roast on. He's marinating.
Bro,
in
we're
the
gonna
sauce.
we're gonna wake up Sunday morning and we're gonna have like fucking like 1,000
threats because of this guy.
Oh
Fucking
my
3,000
God.
people unsubscribe because of Donnie's shit.
and do I give a fuck?
I can see that. Yeah,
No, I
they
don't
pay
give a
you.
fuck.
They pay you. Why would you not give a fuck? The fuck?
When it comes down to it, Sami Zayn's time. Cody, I'm sorry.
No,
All that
it's
time
not,
being on the
dog.
shelf, he should have been heading on a friggin' program
No.
going towards Mania. They should have saved the Sami versus Roman match for WrestleMania.
Bro, you wanted him to have a fourth match with fucking Rollins, man.
No.
I know.
What?
When did I say that? Pull up me saying Seth Rollins should have been.
There was an article before Cody came back that said that WWE is looking to have Rollins versus Cody,
for the
replenish
fourth
their
time.
feud or whatever.
I
Yeah,
never
and
said
you
I wanted
agreed
that to
with it.
happen.
You agreed with it. Yes, the fuck
No.
you did, bro.
No, I did
yes,
not.
the fuck you did, bro.
I said the reports. I made the reports and we talked about it on the talk show as a topic. I never agreed to those. None of us, I think, agreed to
because I said
Rollins.
it wasn't gonna happen, and then you said that you don't agree. That I don't agree with any of your.
Oh,
takes.
me? I was just fucking trying to get under your skin with that whole thing. With
Yeah,
Rollins
now
and
you
Cody.
say
because
it,
you
now that
said,
it's
Danny Huckins, you said that you were not going to watch WrestleMania if that happened. So for me, I was trying to freaking pull the strings and freaking stir the pot, and that's what I did to piss you off.
This fucking guy, man. Just
But when it
know
comes
that.
down to
Just
it-
know that all of Donnie's takes do not reflect me and Ben. Don't roast us.
Oh my god!
I did not say anything this time. I'm just watching y'all bicker like an old married couple, and it's honestly kind of great. It's like peeking into the future in y'all's nursing homes.
Look, here's what I'm gonna leave it at. Because this is just never going to get anywhere. We all have, our different opinions and thoughts when it comes
Apparently.
to, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and Sami Zayn.
The only thing is that neither of me and Danny's ends with Sami Zayn winning the fucking Universal title.
No, here's the thing. I want to give my final thoughts without being interrupted. Because
All
I
right.
gave
I
you
didn't
guys the
say
spotlight.
anything.
So,
Final thoughts.
say what you got to say.
Let the
I
man
want
talk.
to, conclude
Go
this.
ahead. Go ahead.
Let the man
Go ahead.
talk.
All right, so the last thing I'm going to say about this whole thing here on the We Are Wrestling Talk Show, well, podcast now,
Get it right, fucker.
this is, I'm not even going to finish it. I'm done.
No, good.
So, to the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there, let us know in the comment section below your thoughts on, the topics that we talked about this week on the show. If you enjoyed it, make sure to smash that like button now. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. The link's down in the description below. You can go follow all of us on our social medias and other YouTube pages, all that down below. In addition, if you want shorter clips of the We Are Wrestling Talk Show, Podcast. You can go follow us, on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All that down below. And, of course, to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we are taking over. Peace.